Hello and welcome. As we begin this semester, I'd like to take a few minutes to kind of describe the different spaces that we will be working with throughout the semester, and we'll be primarily using Office 365 to do much of what we will be working on in class. I'd like to draw your attention to this page, ambitoacademico.uaa.mx, and from here, if this is the first time you're using Office 365, if you click on Alumnos here, you'll get a tutorial on how to get started opening up your own account in Office 365. So I would suggest going through here. It's relatively simple, going through the process of creating an account and entering into 365. Once you've done that, you should be able to log in with your username and password, and you'll be drawn to a page similar to this. Here is where you'll access all of the different tools that Office 365 offers. For us, we'll be primarily using just a few of these tools, and that's what I'd like to cover now. So the first thing we'll look at is groups. So I'm going to go to our group for this class. Now this is just an example of one class, of course, depending on the course that you signed up for, but this will give you an idea of what to expect. So when we begin class, you'll be asked to join a group that will look similar to this. So this will be a public group, so anything that we post in here, any conversations, any files, etc., will be made public. So do keep that in mind whenever you're posting anything, but all course-related information, sharing, and announcements, etc., will be conducted here in this space. So here you have options of participating in conversations. Now conversations are much like emails in the sense that you can interact and respond to each other, but obviously these are open so anyone can see what you're posting. But for example, here I could post a message and actually add additional information to, or additional contacts if need be, but that's up to you. For our purposes, primarily we'll be using just academic writing as our tag, and we'll include most of our conversations within this one group. Again, this is a public group, and anyone can access this information. So we also will have an area for files, and this will be files that will be shared, again, openly, publicly, but for the purposes of the course. Another thing we'll be using here is the calendar. So each group or class, in fact, I've created a group for each class, will have its own respective calendar. So if you click here, this will take you to the calendar view, and this will be where you can find information about different events and things that are going on in the course. So any type of assignments will be included there as well. And it's good to refer to that calendar periodically throughout the course so that you can see what's coming up and meet specific deadlines. Here you'll have a list of members, so all of you, once you have added or joined this group, you'll see all of the members and you'll be able to contact each other if need be. Again, at the beginning of the course, I'll be helping you work through step by step how to join the group. We'll also have a notebook, and the notebook basically is OneNote, and as you see here, this is an example of what to expect from OneNote, and here you'll have all of the content organized by week as a section, and within each section you may have, or we may have, one or two different pages within that. So this is what we'll be using throughout the semester to kind of include the different content that will be made available and what we'll be working with throughout the semester. Okay, another thing I'd like to draw your attention to is OneDrive. So each of you will have your own respective OneDrive. It won't look like what you see here because this is my OneDrive with files that I'll be using, but each one of you will have your own documents. So we'll be sharing documents, and you'll be sharing documents with me specifically in writing courses, and this is how we'll be interacting throughout the semester. So we'll be setting up documents, sharing those with each other so that we can interact a little bit more in what we're doing in class. Another tool that we'll be using in Office 365 is Newsfeed. Newsfeed is basically a place where we can interact with each other. So this is a place that you can refer to if you want to check out your own newsfeed. You can follow people, and every time someone posts, you'll get a reference. You can use hashtags and you can use mentions. So if you want to mention some person, you can enter in the person's name, much like you would in Twitter or Facebook. So this is a newsfeed that you might find useful, and you might check this out to see if you want to participate in this. But I'll be using this as well throughout the semester. Tasks is a good tool just to organize your own ideas and your own pending items that you need to complete. So we may or may not be using it specifically in class, but I do think this is a good tool just to organize your own ideas and prioritize the things that you need to complete. So this is available, and check that out as well. Obviously we have Word Online, Excel, and PowerPoint. We'll probably be using Word for the most part. As I mentioned before, we'll be sharing documents with each other, and but this is just another way you can access Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Also OneNote you can access here as well. There's some other tools here, but these are the primary tools that I've mentioned so far. These are the ones that we'll be using primarily in class. Now, as you know, if you've used Word before, when you open up the document, it defaults by opening it up online. So there's actually two versions available to you, one being Word Online and another being the Word application that you've installed on your computer. So you really have two options, or two ways that you can go about editing and working within your document. One is online through a browser, as you see here, or you can choose to open the document by clicking Open in Word, and that will open up the application on your own computer. Obviously, you will have to have the application installed first, so you might want to do that. I do recommend that you install Microsoft Word on your computer and have that option, even if you feel that you will be working mainly online. But because typically there are some formatting options that are not available on Word Online that you might find useful by having to edit the document on your own computer. But for the most part, I think most of the editing can be done online, and certainly is more convenient. For example, when we're in class, sometimes if you're using a mobile device such as a cell phone or a tablet, many students find it easier just to edit online, and then if there are some formatting things that they need to do, they can do that later, maybe on a desktop computer or a laptop, and that's how most students seem to work. Okay, so this is the same document on Word in Microsoft Word, and if you make changes, you save it, and it will sync to your online version. So always make sure when you are editing your document on your own computer that you are connected at the time that you sync, so that those changes are reflected on the main document. So it's very important that you remember that as well. So here was an example. I made a change to the document on my own computer that I synced, and now it appears in the version online. When you're working online, another thing to remember is you don't have to save the document because it's automatically saved as you go along. As you're working in Word, whether it's online or on your own computer, we'll be using the comment function for leaving comments and feedback. So all my feedback that I'll be providing you will be in the form of comments. So if you're online, you can view comments by clicking here. If you open it in Word, you can view it again as a comment. And my recommendation would be to make the changes, and as you change your document, remove the comments. Comments also has a feature where you can reply to the comments. So if you have questions about some of the comments that I'm making, feel free to respond to those, and we can have a conversation back and forth until you are clear on the doubts that you have. Obviously, we can discuss your questions as well in class, but the comment feature is robust enough that we can have a conversation, and I can try to help you with some of your doubts within the document asynchronously outside of class if need be. So this is a brief summary on Office 365 and how we'll be using Office 365 in our class. Again, we will spend the first few days getting familiar with 365, and I'll be helping you setting up your account if you do have questions, as well as adding yourself to the groups and generally just navigating around this tool. We'll be spending most of our time within this space, but also we'll be linking to spaces outside of this environment to get the most out of our class, to make it more interactive, more interesting. And if at any point you do have questions, feel free to send me an email or come by my office. And the last thing I would suggest you do is to fill out your profile and add a picture of yourself. And here is where you can contact me. I have my email here, and contact others as well. But this is where we'll be working this semester. I look forward to getting started and working with you. And again, if you do have any doubts or issues, let me know.